Wow. As I always say, whatever you give us football, we'll take it. You're magical. You're beautiful. That's why we love you. Others almost had a heart attack. Others were crying with Tanzanians in South Africa. Football, what did you do? Lufuno.
Yes.
Let's start with the result that was the most obvious of the lot.
Yeah.
Because anybody that saw anything after that, is very much is lying. In Cairo, Ali did the job.
Yeah.
As expected.
Look, clean.
As usual.
As usual.
As per process and procedure.
Yeah, they went through their business, just did their job. And I mean, there was no way that Simba will come back. Simba are not good travelers. They don't do well outside of Tanzania.
No,
yes,
they don't. They came
games,
here during COVID, caught 4 at Soccer City. Yeah. Came here, caught another L at Orlando Stadium. Eish.
Yeah.
It was that result that, like people say, the last team in South Africa to be in the finals was Kaizer Chiefs.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. But in life, we celebrate winners. See, we then went. We went to see the Tunisians.
Yes.
Did you expect Esperance to travel that well to ASEC and be able to get the result that they did?
I think I'm in between with that because now both teams play almost a similar kind of game this season. And you look at the trajectory that ASEC has had so far, you know, after being absent for a couple of seasons and they are back now. And you would probably give them a benefit of the doubt that they might just get there and do something. But with the thought that aspirants need to be in that space of playing a Club World Cup, quite challenging for them.
Club World Cup is a problem because there's a certain yellow monster in front of them, that chameleon, but we're not at the chameleon yet.
Yeah.
We then go Mazembe.
Ooh.
They left Lubumbashi and said, we must go to Pedro and fetch this thing.
100%.
When Pedro scored, I thought, lights out, business as usual, Lufuno, the home team should win.
Yeah, Mazembe's got pedigree in the Champions League. We mustn't forget that we were talking about
what gives pedigree? 5 times.
5 times champions.
So you have to win it to get pedigree.
Look, you have to win it.
If you haven't won it, no pedigree.
No, we can't take away that from Mazembe.
No, I'm just saying, if you have not won it, you have no pedigree.
We're talking about TP.
No, I'm asking, if you haven't won it, you don't have pedigree.
Even if you won once, you don't have pedigree. You need to win it 5 times, like Mazembe.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
The only team to beat Sundowns, to show you
true.
that they got pedigree. Yeah. And they've been absent in the Champions League, and they came back and they beat Sundowns.
Yeah.
And I'm saying about a team that have beaten Sundowns in the Champions League in a very long time.
Yeah.
Because these other teams, yes, they knock Sundowns out, but it's on technicality. They don't beat Sundowns outright. You know, so you need to give that to them. So they've got experience. They know how to play. You don't win it 5 times if by fluke.
No, you can't fluke this thing. If fluke been win the final once. Mara, having said that, now we've seen Cairo, Ali won, ASEC out. But also the interesting thing is that is the only fixture next to Mazembe. Then the rest were decided on penalties.
Yep.
This thing is not a walk in the park.
Then we should tell Likoko. Likoko, we are telling you. This thing was saying all teams that are playing at home will win. It's no automatic because you've got
Cox. Chief, nobody has a divine right to win just because they are playing at home.
Yeah.
But you give you 50%. 50% is good. We give you 50% to good. We'll see you soon. Lufuno wants to have words with you. I won't be there. SC.
Yes, sir.
We then go. Hey, my daughter. The Tanzanian arrived.
The
Wananchi.
Yes.
When they arrived, they made home and away, no goal.
Respect to them.
Well, we say no goal, but there was something that happened with the post and the ground, inconclusive things.
Yeah, look, we'll talk about it, but at the end of the day, the decision is out.
No, man, you can't say the decision is out.
No, on the field. On the field, the decision was out.
They have written a letter.
The decision was out on the field.
No, there were 90 people have written a letter. They are saying it's a goal.
Yeah.
But how can you say it's a goal if the ref didn't give it?
Hence I'm saying, we can talk about it, but at the end of the day, the decision was made on the field. And as we are saying, I need to give a shout out to them and say, look, guys.
Okay, so we leave the letter, we park the letter.
Yes, sir.
On the field. Clearer chances. went to Yanga.
Technically, Gamondi was superior in this game. And I love the fact that I think Rulani needs to learn something from these 2 fixtures that he played. Because the team he's going to play next plays almost a similar kind of style in terms of a low block. And we've seen
low block is the Achilles heels for Mamelodi Sundowns.
It seems like it's a challenge for Rulani. You know, he needs to find answers to a low block.
So from what I'm seeing, Lufuno, there's this thing that is happening.
Yeah.
Sundowns is like that team that always wants to have an identity about how they play. They don't just play. They don't play helicopter football. They want to play a certain way. They want to win games with finesse and they want to win beautifully. Possession football is their thing. Boxes, triangle, whatever it is. But everybody says, you can play there. We'll park this bus here in front of our goals.
The low block and the chameleon football. Is it always necessary when you are playing in the Champions League, when you are playing teams such as Yanga? Because for me, in the balance of playing both games, Yanga managed to bypass the Sundowns defense. Either they were parking the bus or not. For me, is that they were able to get behind the Sundowns defense. They could have hit Sundowns.
What you're saying is very key, because we never get to a point whereby we use words like they bypass the Sundowns defense.
100.
Because Sundowns is a team that's always so offensive that we're always looking at them having more shots at goal.
Yes.
But the low block is now saying, think again, if we can get out of that low block, we will attack you with pace.
Yes. So that is what if you look at the game against, especially second half at Loftus, Yanga really used their pace. They didn't have a lot of touches. 1, 2, 3 touches. They're already in the Sundowns D, and then they actually managed to create that moment that really made people Aziz. You know, tip
Aziz,
that
left there. That's a very
the interesting thing. They could have been 2-0 up
Yes.
with that second chance they got that was disallowed, because if actually
no, it's not disallowed. It was not given.
So for me, besides. I've got an issue with how Sundowns set up at the back. Yes, I know that they've got their own way of playing and all that. You know, if you look at the first game there, when they started, prior to him getting injured, Zungu was playing more or less like a 5, linking the midfield. And that as well, when you are playing a team that is very smart, it cannot expose, because defensively he's not a strong guy to
So
play
is it because in that position you can argue SC to say, if Zungu doesn't play, then there is a man that I believe is the system.
Yeah.
Rivaldo Kotsie,
exactly.
He's of a different mindset.
But Rivaldo Kotsie, when he was at Ajax, when he was at Bafana Bafana, what position was he playing?
Defender.
Thank you very much. Similarly to Umvala, when Umvala was not a Sundowns, what position was he playing?
He was a midfielder.
So, in general, if you look at the 2 players that we're speaking about, they're very comfortable to transact from those 2 positions. Because again, in Kotsie's mind, he's automatically knows to switch and become a defender. You know that he was well known for on that position. And then he was switched to play more or less like a schema ex-Sundowns, right in front of the defense. So there is no trouble when he's playing in that position. So, and he makes Sundowns tick. No.
When is the Sundowns plays different? SC.
Yes, sir.
Aziz. Control.
you know.
Ball hits the post. You could have dropped paper. We would hear the paper at Loftus. It's almost as if there was silent.
So true.
It was like load shedding of the people.
Yeah, so true. Load shedding happened, and this time it was real in Loftus.
You see,
we couldn't deny that.
You always say, prophet. Something nearly happened. Death.
Something nearly happened.
Yeah, look. If you were a Sundowns supporter on that day and you saw that shot, I'll tell you something about Stephane. Stephane, you take it from the way he takes it. It literally created himself a volley.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And you could see by the way he put his body in front of the defender to say, I'm taking a shot now. Williams didn't see that coming through. And it was such a beautiful strike. It exposed a Mamelodi Sundowns that plays on a high line to say, look.
Now you're coming back running at 120 km towards your own goals.
Exactly. And it was that moment where controversy came through, and we can't deny and say, look, on the naked eye would say, if I'm watching from home, if I'm watching the
my
stadium,
first instinct, like, yeah. There's a friend of mine in Tanzania called Clement, and I thought Clement is going to have a field day with me.
Yeah.
But having said that, and we've got to be able to now handle the reaction that came from Yanga. Because that is now something that Yanga have written a letter. Before we get to the context of the letter, how many football games do we know of that have been replayed based on a complaint of a ref not being?
I know one.
Only Bafana.
That's it. And how it happens?
No,
it's
that
still,
one.
It's still a miracle to me.
No, that one we know. There were people there who were high and powerful positions, who are from that country. We won't say Senegal, and then that's how the game was played.
Yeah.
So there's never been a replay. Now let's go to the context.
Yeah.
Because here's my disappointment from a footballing perspective. You've got the president of African club, who's the president of Yanga. He can now, because that conversation goes, we saw what happened and we believe, and the push is to CAF to be able to bring goal line technology, to bring VAR, to bring those.
Improve the game.
That's a valid conversation.
Yes.
Improve the game.
But now you've gone, no, you cheated us. Now you match, because now you're accusing Sundowns, now you're accusing the ref.
Yeah, so I mean, you are now in the territory that you cannot prove. Because once you said somebody, it's an issue of just crying for the sake of really crying, because in that instant you are playing in the other. Now you want to go to court. This is a court stuffing because you can't prove that. To say Sundowns have cheated, you can't prove that the referee has cheated. All we can say is that the VAR did not show us the other angle on that ball. That's all we can say. Conclusively so, we can say that. But we can never say somebody was paid to do what not. And it's disappointing because he's got a space to can actually influence to say, what do we learn from this situation? Because for African football to grow, we should say the lessons from that game. What is it that we need to learn? Already in international football, you've got goal line technology. Do we start applying such when we come to the quarterfinal, when we come to the semi-final, to the final?
Because and for me, Lufuno and SC will come to you in terms of, he's the president of African Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very influential body that CAF has just established.
Yes.
Use that as a tool to be able to say, moving forward, we need the following things to be there at CAF level, at competition level, because ideally, from a South African perspective, we would love it every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend, VAR would be in use in South Africa.
Yes.
But he could have said, we need this in this competition, in the Champions League, in the Confederation Cup,
AFL.
and also going to AFL, and also going to pushing it at continental level to say goal line technology is necessary. But the route that they went, from a Sundowns perspective, as a supporter of Sundowns, how did you receive it when you then read the context of the letter?
When you hear words such as match fixing, you can't associate that with Sundowns. And the brand that Sundowns is trying to, or the direction that Mamelodi Sundowns is trying to take, you wouldn't want to be associated with that, because also it impacts our former owner, It then says, what are you saying about this entity, which is Mamelodi Sundowns? At the same time, you holding a huge position like that of influence, as we have reiterated and said, coming from an AFL that was run so well, bring the conversation near home and say, guys, we've held such a beautiful tournament. Can we then introduce a goal line technology kind of conversation? Instead of going the match fixing way, we understand that you are grieved in this situation. But
it's emotions, Chief. If you run with emotions, facts don't matter.
But what does it say to a person sitting at home knowing that the president holds such a huge position at Yanga, at African continent?
You don't want to set wrong trends. That when you lose, it's match fixing.
No, I saw. People were also bringing goals where you hit the post. The Yanga didn't score, but they were given a goal,
and they won.
And they won, and you then go.
Yeah, then you start asking, then, okay, are you saying this because of experience? So you see, that's another thing that somebody can bring that angle to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that in football there are three results. There's a draw, there's a win, and there's a lose. And sometimes it can be done based on wrong decisions from the referee or VAR or whatnot. Take it, move forward. You know, and we speak very nice and glowingly about the performance of Yanga.
And I think that took away a lot of from performance because,
Yes.
On a serious note, it was now the fact that Yanga, we expected Mshishi to dance. Mshishi left his dancing shoes at home.
Yes.
You expected Allende to dictate terms. That was not happening.
Yeah.
Yanga had the clearer chances at the game, and now we're not talking of that. We're talking about this letter that's on the table.
Exactly, and you are right. It takes away from the footballing conversation because now what Yanga brought on these two fixtures was amazing. Yeah. When us as Sundowns supporters had said Yanga is not going to come back from Loftus, and they came there, they played football, and now because of the last incident of the match, we now have to concentrate on that and be like,
I mean, we should be having conversation to say what is African football shaping in terms of performances. Yanga were coming in this stage for the first time. The performance that they put in 2 games should be something that we should be able to say, wow, the African football is growing.
Talking of that, Lufuno, while I have you on that, Tanzanian football, the trajectory that it gets from 2 of their teams in the quarterfinals, where is it?
Yeah, you know, again, as you're saying, that look, they come into the right spaces, and we should say, as I said, Yanga first time coming in, Simba being regular, we should expect this performance should be, you know, something that they will build on, and then looking at the next edition, looking at these teams going one step further. And I mean, Yanga will come back. They are leading the league already in the league. Yeah. We're expecting them to win the league. Definitely means that they're coming back in the Champions League. And with the performance, and they go back and learn from what the experience that they've actually experienced. As you said, when you are in the Champions League all the time, you gain experience. You become, you become smart on how you box. And for me, we should say, Yanga, you came in, you showed us, how football is played. Today we talk about Tanzanian football because of what you have demonstrated on the field and how you fare yourself against a very strong Mamelodi Sundowns, how you neutralize Sundowns home and away. Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got the Mazembe coach who says he doesn't want to play Sundowns. But Lufuno, thank you. SC, where's Tanzanian football?
Look, it's rising, and one would have to look at what Lufuno is saying. It's great to see that we have a Tanzanian team such as Yanga. Yanga is playing good football, and you can see through their coach what he's bringing into the team, the ethics that he's building into this team. Again, we cannot also remove a Simba into the conversation because they're just not far away from coming back into the CAF Champions League. Let them come back into the next season, give us what they've been giving us, and if you look at this AFCON, my apologies, not AFCON, this Champions League, if you look at it holistically, you've got teams from North that are there, you've got teams from West, you've got teams from South, you've got teams in the middle. It then tells you that football in Africa is growing. And if a Tanzanian fan is sitting out there, they would be proud to say, look, we are in the conversation with all these teams that are there. I mean, you look at the teams that were playing the quarterfinals right now, it then tells you that they are growing. We need to see them there in the next season.
Next season, Yanga, you're a worthy adversary. Pedro, how can you lose? Simba. And then you look at this thing and you say there's the semi-final. At our next show, we're going to speak about the influence and the heaviness of the fixture between Mamelodi Sundowns and Esperance, because both teams are in the running to go to the World Club. Ooh, points and everything.
Bona, TP and Ali. That for me,
huge game.
Big.
Even though we're not there next week, who you supporting there? You black and white like Pirates, Mazembe, or you're red and white? And he laughs. You see,
it's a tough one. It's not an easy one to answer.
To be honest,
but TP, sorry, Lefuno. TP has to do his homework because if you look at it,
the time is gone. Make a TP or Ali.
I'll give it to Ali.
You give it to Ali. You give it to
TP.
Mazembe, Ali.
Upset.
Egyptian, how the Congolese.
We're going to see a final. A very dream final.
What's your dream final?
TP versus Sundowns.
TP versus Sundowns?
Yeah.
That would be a good final.
Man of God has spoken.
FNB Stadium.
The prophet has spoken. FNB ingena kanjani manje?
I'm giving you a venue.
Oh, this one, because this team likes giving facilities and stuff like that. So, Lufuno says, TP.
Yeah, they will train in Naturena.
You say Cairo. So they'll train in Naturena.
Yeah, so they'll play nice in FNB.
It's going to be beautiful. To all the teams that are in the semi-final, give us good football. Whatever football gives us, we love it. Because football is magical. Football is a beautiful thing. That's why we love it. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe and add your comments. These two, can't take them anywhere. Thank you for being here with us.